Okay, let's get right into it. Today, we are cracking open a book that has seriously changed the game for millions of people. Why? Because it challenges the single biggest thing we're all taught about money. We're going to break down the powerful, and yeah, sometimes controversial, ideas from Rich Dad, Poor Dad into something you can really use.
So the whole book boils down to this really simple story about two dads with completely different ideas about money. On one hand, you have the poor dad. He followed the path we all know. Go to a good school, get good grades, find a safe, secure job. But then you have the rich dad, who taught a totally different lesson. He said, don't just work for money. Understand it. Make it work for you. And that one little difference in thinking, it's the key to everything. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with those two mindsets. Then we'll get into the real meat of it. Assets versus liabilities. After that, we'll unpack what it really means to mind your own business, why you should focus on working to learn, and finally, we'll cover the first actual steps you can take to get started. Okay, let's jump into section 1, those two mindsets, because the book's big argument is that you can't change your bank account until you first change the way you think about money. This right here, this is the foundation for everything else. And it all comes down to this one huge question you've got to ask yourself. Are you spending your life just trading your time for a paycheck, or are you building things, acquiring assets that make money for you even when you're sleeping? It's a massive shift in how you see the world. So here's the real difference in their worlds. Poor Dad was driven by fear, so he valued job security above everything else, just playing it safe. But Rich Dad, he saw a world just full of opportunities. He knew that real security doesn't come from a steady paycheck. It comes from financial smarts and owning the thing that actually makes the money. And that idea, it leads us perfectly into our next section, which is honestly the biggest and most important lesson in the entire book. It's a simple, like shockingly simple, rule of the money game. It's all about understanding the difference between an asset and a liability. So, what's an asset? Forget all the complicated stuff you've heard. Rich Dad's definition is super simple. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket. That's it. Think of it like a little money machine that you own, a rental property that brings in rent checks, a stock that pays you dividends. It's working for you. And then, of course, you've got the opposite, liabilities. These are the things that are constantly taking money out of your pocket. You know, like your car payment, that credit card bill. Getting this simple difference, this one idea, is the absolute key. It becomes the filter for every single financial choice you make. This chart lays it out perfectly. On the left, assets, things you want to build up, like real estate that pays you, a business, stocks. And on the right, liabilities, things you want to avoid, like a mortgage on the house you live in, car loans, credit card debt. The goal? It's simple, right? Get more of the stuff on the left and way less of the stuff on the right. Okay, so once you get that, it brings us to the next big idea, mind your own business. Now, this doesn't mean you have to go quit your job tomorrow, not at all. It means shifting your focus from just your job to your real business, which is that asset column we just talked about. Okay, now check out how this works in practice. Most people get a paycheck, and what's the first thing they do? They pay bills and buy liabilities. But the Rich Dad way is totally different. You earn income, but the very first thing you do with it is buy assets. And over time, the money from those assets starts to grow until it's paying for all your expenses. That, my friends, is financial freedom. Now, the book also points out this huge structural advantage the rich use, corporations. For most people, you earn money, you pay taxes on it right away, and then you try to live on what's left. But a business owner who uses a corporation can often earn money, spend it on the business, and then get taxed on whatever's left over. It's a fundamental shift in cash flow that makes a massive difference. I love this quote because it really shifts the conversation. It's not just about buying and selling stuff. It's about having a creative mindset. True wealth isn't always just sitting there waiting for you. A lot of times it's created. It comes from spotting an opportunity that everyone else missed and having the guts to take a smart risk to make it happen. So, how do you even get that kind of creative mindset? Well, that's what Section 4 is all about. Work to learn, not just to earn. This is a total game changer, especially when you're just starting your career. The main point of a job shouldn't just be the paycheck. It should be the skills you can pick up along the way. And look at the skills that really matter for building wealth. Notice what's on this list. It's not about being the best programmer or the best doctor. It's about understanding people and systems, the ability to sell, to market, to communicate, to understand money, and to lead people. These are the skills that help you build assets. But look, learning all this stuff is one thing. The book is pretty clear that the real battle is often happening right inside our own heads. What really stops most people isn't a lack of ideas. It's fear, it's self-doubt, it's laziness, bad habits, or just the arrogance of thinking you already know everything. Getting your mind right is just as important as getting your money right. Okay, let's land the plane here with our last section, your first steps to wealth. This is where we turn all this thinking into doing. This is how you light the fuse on your own financial journey. And look, the big message here is that this isn't for some special group of people. The book argues that everyone has a financial genius inside them. You just have to wake it up with a little education and a lot of practice. So where do you start? Like, what can you do today? The book gives you a super clear starting line. First, find a really powerful emotional reason why you're doing this. Next, make it a hard rule to pay yourself first, meaning you invest some money before you pay any bills. Then, start hanging around people who talk about ideas and opportunities, not just problems. And finally, just commit to never stop learning about money. And if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Your salary might make you comfortable, but it's your assets that will make you wealthy. And the key that unlocks the door to building those assets is financial education. That is the real road to freedom.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. Long before you ever buy a stock or a piece of real estate, you have to make an investment in the single most powerful asset you will ever own, your own mind. So the question is, what are you going to invest in it today?